Hello guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to make one of these. It's a little hologram projector, and I've been seeing these all over the internet. I saw it first on Facebook. One of my friends shared a video about it, and I thought, man, that's cool, I want to make one of these. So I tried a few times, well, I tried twice, and both of those didn't turn out too well. So I decided to try it one more time, and it worked, so I recorded it. And I just wanted you guys to see how to do it. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this doohickey. So what you're going to need is a ruler, a CD case, like one of these, just the front though, or whatever part of it is clear. On the ones I have, it's just the front. A Sharpie, pen, something like that, something you can use to draw with. And then a hot glue gun and a cutting tool. I have tried using a scissors on a flimsier piece of plastic or a just regular knife, like a craft knife on the CD cases, but that didn't, the craft knife on the CD case didn't work out too well, so I'm going to be using a hot knife today, and it hopefully will just melt right through the plastic and give me some nice clean cuts. Now, you're also going to need a stencil. So I've made one right here. It's just using a flimsy piece of plastic from one of my previous attempts. Like I've said, I've tried it 2 other times. I tried it with flimsy plastic, and I've tried it with the CD case. Now, I'm just going to be using this stencil that I made for the other one, and then I will include a picture at some point in the video with the measurements that I used. And yeah, that's pretty much all that we need for this project. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take your stencil and you're just going to place it on the plastic. Now, if you don't have a stencil, then you can just use your ruler and freehand it. But since I have a stencil, I'm not going to need my ruler for this part. I'm just going to use the stencil. I'm going to take my Sharpie. I'm just going to trace the plastic, the flimsy plastic. And I'm just going to do that over all the edges. Try not to get it to move too much. And from your angle, you might not be able to see too much of this because my hands might be blocking it, but hopefully enough of this will show. So you're just going to trace it nice and carefully. Make sure not to move the stencil too much. Otherwise, you'll end up with something that doesn't go together properly. Like, it'll go together, but it'll be uneven, so it won't like stand up right. And yep. So I have it traced. Now, if you want, you can go from edge to edge here and trace that. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do that a little later. So now, what you'll want to do is you'll want to make sure that your hot knife is heating up, and mine is not quite ready yet, so I will pause the video and come back when it's ready. Okay, so my hot knife is nice and hot now and should just let me slice right through the plastic. You want to be very careful to follow these lines you made. Cut right through it. Now you may need to reheat your hot knife. Be very careful not to touch the edges because that really hurts. Don't touch the hot knife. Oh dear. Held it there a little too long, but oh well, it's okay. don't touch the hot knife. It hurts. I'm just gonna keep cutting right through it. And when you're done, it will be a nice, weird shape, but the edges will be nice, clean cuts. So I'm gonna pause and come back when it's all cut out. Okay, so now you've finished cutting it out. You have two pieces. You have this one, which is just the outer layer-ish thing, and then you have the piece right here. This is the one you want to use, so you can just take this one and toss it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this, you're going to take your ruler and your Sharpie, or whatever you're using to draw, and you're going to line up these little corners things. You're going to take your Sharpie, and you're just going to connect each corner. I'm going to make sure they're lined up. I'm going to use my handy mat thing that has all the grid. Yeah, I'm going to use my grid mat. Just make a line there. I turn it, and the hot knife will cut right through this and kind of burn away the Sharpie, so you don't have to worry about that in your final product. And line it up again. Make the line. Keep lining it up. There we go. And one last line. There we go. Now, you just take that, and you can take your hot knife, and you can just cut along that line. It's burning away the Sharpie as you cut. It's melting right through the plastic. There we go. You should just be able to get that off. And you're going to do that with each of the four sides. Okay, so now you have your four little pieces, and you have this leftover piece, which you don't need that, so you can toss that as well, unless you want to save it for like some other project that you might have. And we no longer need the hot knife, so we can just unplug that. So mine's just cooling down now. And you have your hot glue gun ready. Should have been warming up at this point. If it's not warm yet, then you can just pause the video or just keep watching and try and remember what we do next. So now you can take the hot glue gun, and you're just going to put a little bit of hot glue along this edge right here. You're just going to be so careful not to put too much, because if you put too much, then that can mess up the plastic. And you're just going to take this piece and you kind of stick it on like that and bend it to a semi-right angle. And just hold it until it dries. And since it's hot glue, if we mess something up, we can always just warm it up and readjust the piece. So just keep holding it and blow on it if you have to, and I'll be back once I have. You're just gonna do that for all four pieces, so that they're all attached, and you have a kind of a funnel shape. And I'll come back when that's done. Now, when you're done, you should have something a little like this. It's like a little plastic funnel cone pyramid thing. It's actually a hologram projector. Well, not a projector, but the screen for a hologram, and it's really cool. So the image that you're going to get from this can change a tad bit, like in resolution, or maybe colors, or maybe it might be a little warped or something like that, depending on the plastic you use, the material you use, or the screen you're using it on. So first I'm going to show you what this looks like using just an iPhone 5C, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like using a Kindle Fire. So, I'm going to get it all lined up. Get the video ready. Here we go. Oh dear. Twisted it a bit. There we go. Hit the lights. That's what it looks like from above. And if you get down, something amazing. It's neat, isn't it? Now, you don't really get the best quality image with the camera I'm using. Looks a little blue. Still looks pretty cool though. And I've even found that if you like flip this thing upside down, it still works. That's pretty cool. Although you can see some of the other images from the other sides in there. Still cool. Now, I'm gonna pause and show you what it looks like on a Kindle Fire. Now, since a Kindle is a little bit of a bigger thing, the image will be bigger. Oops, I just knocked over a bicycle. The image will be bigger in the little hologram thing, and depending on how you position it, it'll be bigger or smaller, and the location of it on the little screen changes, but it's still really cool. That's something you can impress your friends with. Now, I'm gonna kind of just show you the what I got from my other attempts. So, my first attempt, I used the CD method, but I didn't use a hot knife. I just kind of used the little craft knife. So, and I freehanded the triangles, so it was tiny, and they weren't identical. So, because they weren't identical, and because of its size, the image really doesn't show up at all on the Kindle. Well, it just barely shows up towards the bottom. And then over on the phone, the image still doesn't show up all the way. Still towards the bottom. Now my second attempt, using flimsy plastic, it didn't really work either, because like it was the right size and proportions and stuff like that, but the image gets warped because it's flimsy. So when you have it like all fastened together, I used to tape on that, it just warped and bent and stuff like that, so it doesn't really work. Over on the Kindle, it works a little better, but it's still warped. So, in my opinion, using the heat knife, hot glue, and CD case is the best way to do it. And if you don't have access to hot glue gun or a heat knife, then tape and a craft knife will work just as fine. Now, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you guys again.